Instagram content lives for what, 1-2 days? Now, if you create a really good piece of content, it can live on Google for a long time.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge.
And settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 180, and this is going to be your SEO news check, where we're going to skip all the jargon and the crazy panic that you're seeing in TikTok, Instagram, wherever you're consuming your education these days. And let's focus on what actually matters for us small business owners and entrepreneurs who care about the world of SEO, which should be everyone.
I want to ask Glenn, which is Abby's husband, our podcast editor, to because this is an SEO news check, I want him to put in that dramatic, breaking news, that music. I'm going to ask him to do that, and he's going to be like, you're dumb.
No. Maybe we should just leave this here like an Easter egg and see if he does it.
Oh my gosh.
Hi,
Maybe
Glenn.
He'll get a raise. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Husband of the Year award. That's what he'll get. So let's talk about a few things. We have 4 big things here. I think 5 big things here that we want to talk about of what's happening in the world of SEO. What are people talking about? Does it matter? Should you be freaking out? Which the answer is never. You should never freak out. It's not that deep, as the kids are saying these days. So let's talk first about Instagram, because let me tell you, on July 10th, the day this all happened, I got emails from people and messages from people, and they were like, is this true? Instagram is now indexed by Google. And honestly,
and when Abby, honestly, I'm probably going to learn a lot in this episode too, you guys, so just bear with me if I have a billion questions. But when I was looking at the show notes and it said Instagram is now indexed by Google, my very first question, which is maybe a lot of your guys' first questions too, was how is this different than before with Instagram? Because Instagram has been pushing keywords and SEO, and you can search within Instagram and find the things that you're looking for. So this, to me, I was like, okay, well, how is this different?
Yeah, because technically you're still thinking about Instagram for SEO, and we actually have an entire blog post on SEO for Instagram that we recently updated, so you can take a peek at that one. So we'll link that one in the show notes for you. But so before you're thinking about your SEO on Instagram. So you're thinking about the search bar in Instagram. How could I show up for that? Because people are actually using Instagram as a search platform. And however, when I first saw this, I was like, I thought Instagram was already showing up on Google. And it was. So the thing is, Instagram had put something like no index tags, or they updated their robots.txt file. You don't even need to know what any of those are, but basically what Instagram did is they put something on their platform that said, search crawlers, please don't crawl this content. And that kind of deterred them. However, just like any other, ant trap that you put in your house, they still come through every once in a while. So that's basically what happened, is that every once in a while, a piece of content on Instagram would get indexed and it would show up on public accounts. So it did happen, and we have seen it before, and so that's why people were talking about it, is this big thing. Make sure you have your captions with keywords, and make sure, and now people, rather than hashtags, are just adding a whole bunch of keywords to the bottom of an Instagram caption. And these things might be short-term, they might work, just like everything did in the old days with SEO too.
Just 30 hashtags used to work, and that's not relevant anymore. Yeah,
but I would say long-term, that's not going to be the case anymore. So now Instagram, as of July 10th, basically said, okay, they removed the block from search crawlers being able to crawl Instagram content. So now public posts from professional Instagram accounts can now be opted in to appear on Google. So we'll have the details of like where you can go in your settings to check this to see if it's on or off. If you want it on or off, that's totally your decision. But in my mind, if it's a business account, why wouldn't you want people to find you in one more way? And also, Instagram content lives for what, 1-2 days at most. Now, if you create a really good piece of content, it can live on
forever.
Google for a long time, which is powerful.
I guess my biggest question is, why was Instagram like against being found on Google in the first place?
I don't know. It's a good question. They probably wanted to get paid for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like sometimes that stuff does
Back-end
come down
stuff
to
that
money.
we don't realize,
Yeah, or it would change the way people use the algorithm. I don't, people use the content. I don't know, but
this is huge.
yeah, it is huge. And it's awesome to be able to know that your content can live longer. And this is all the more reason too, as you create long form content. So as you create podcast show notes and blog posts and create content on your website, put the Instagram posts there. Like that will help that Instagram content actually get indexed in Google because you're putting it in something that Google naturally is already crawling a lot, which is your blog. Now it's going to crawl and find that Instagram content and the possibility for that Instagram content to rank. So again, think of your marketing strategy from this bigger approach of like, I'm not just creating reels and pumping them out there. How do those tie back to every other content I make for my website? And how can I make them all work together? So it's exciting.
Kind of thinking about high quality content versus quantity at this. Like, I think a lot of people thought Instagram was quantity for a while. And I still think a lot of people think like, I have to post 5 days a week because that's what the algorithm wants, which is great if you can do that. But it's better to post 2 times a week with high quality content versus quantity here.
Yeah. And I would say just because this is happening likely doesn't mean the actual Instagram algorithm is changing. So like if you basically the algorithm loves you for creating fun, playful content, likely it's going to still perform really good on the platform, but not on Google because so people are going to Google for information.
Right.
Whereas if you're creating content on Instagram that's really informational, that might perform really well on Google. So it'll be interesting.
Whatever your goals, I guess, would be, and just having the knowledge of how everything works together. And if you want your Instagram to be crawled on Google, then you have to think of high quality content, right? And using keywords and all that. But if you're just on Instagram to, you know, make people laugh and you don't care if it's indexed or found on Google, then that's fine too. It's really just your goals and just knowing actually how, you know, this could work for you really strongly.
The bummer thing as I think through this right now, like my analytical brain is like, how are we going to know? How are we going to know what's performing? And you're not really going to know unless Instagram allows us to view it in their own Instagram analytics, because or if they come to our website from Instagram, maybe we can assume that if we're not posting more on Instagram yet, Instagram is growing in terms of like the traffic that's driving to our website. We could maybe assume that it's being found by more people and therefore more people are coming to our site. But I would say the only way to really track that performance of am I showing up is going to be by your Instagram analytics. And unless they include something of people finding you on another platform, there's no way you're really going to be able to track that.
You'd actually have to like really be diligent about checking your analytics and seeing if things are changing. Yeah,
which is kind of a big bummer. So I hope they add that. So, and if they do, we'll be sure to update that blog. So check it out. Okay, that's the number one thing because it's Instagram. People love to talk about Instagram. So let's talk about number 2 is that in June, Google had a core update. So core updates are Google's biggest algorithm updates. Just like Instagram does algorithm updates, people always talk about that. Google has its own algorithm update. And they're called core updates and they happen a couple times a year. June was the last big one. Now, they never tell us when these updates are going to happen. They never tell us what they did during these updates. But there's so many people out there whose jobs literally are to speculate what happened, what changed, how did things like differ in rankings and all of that.
Wouldn't that be a fun episode for us to do? Like sometime be like, okay, we're going to speculate what Google's going to do. I just want to know.
I'm like,
I want to know what Abby thinks and I want to know if it like,
half the time I'm like, that's gotta be it's so micro, it's like micro mining data. Like how did this change and this change in these industries and these industries? And it's like so granular that I think I would be bored out of my mind.
Oh,
I would
okay.
much rather like look at the big picture than like the little
But that could be fun
nuggets.
too, even just like looking at the big picture
Mhm.
and like what are Abby's
Scene. Yeah.
like
So
predictions.
here is one of the ways I do make a prediction for a lot of times of like, what does the market look like? So I love to use, there's something called a SEMrush sensor. So if you just Google that, SEMrush sensor, SEMrush is the SEO tool that we use and we talk about a lot. They have a sensor on their website where you can see how volatile or how often the rankings are shifting basically on the search platform. It's literally always in like the orange or red, like always. Like it's just always volatile. There'll be like a day of green and it's like, oh, yay, that was a good day. But otherwise, it's pretty much always changing. So I always tell my clients like, hey, look at that, because if we're in a in a string of red, like high volatile days for a long time in a row, usually that means there's an algorithm update because Google is doing things in the background. And there's a lot of changes happening, and you can actually look at that sensor by industry. So that can be kind of fun. And it's free. It's a free tool. So
Yeah.
we'll link it in the show notes too, so you can take a peek at it. But as with all core updates, Google's advice is always the same. Focus on creating high quality content that's helpful and reliable and made for people rather than search engines. And we talk about that all the time. Honestly, as long as you're doing that and as long as you're optimizing your content, creating high quality content, writing it for people, not saying that you can't use AI to help you write it, but that at the end of the day, the audience you're writing it for is people, you're going to do just fine. So the people who are getting hit by these core updates are people who are creating crap and pumping out content, or they just have a really bad website or a spammy website or just ads everywhere, or
it's very clear that you're just copying and pasting something from AI.
Yes. So those are the people that are likely going to suffer. And if you're asking the question of like, okay, how do I know? How do I know if I got hit by this algorithm update? You will be able to tell this for the most part in your Google Search Console. So if you have Google Search Console, which everyone should have it, completely free tool, that tool will tell you how your traffic is trending, and likely you'll see a dip after core algorithm updates. And I'm not talking about like a dip for a day. I'm talking about like a dip for a couple weeks. So if you see that, you could have been hit by it. And that's something where you just want to take a look at your content. Like maybe look at what pages are seeing the biggest decreases or what pages are seeing the biggest drop in impressions and clicks. And that could be the content that's affected. So it's kind of like your taxes. Like they know what it is that you owe them, but they're not going to tell you. They want you to do the math to figure it out. Google's the same way. They know what content they don't like, but they're not going to tell you. You got to figure it out. So you just got to make assumptions based on what's performing, what's dipping, and using the compare tool in Google Search Console is one of my favorite things to do. So we can show a little screenshot of how that comes to life in the show notes so you can peek, but that's kind of the best way to see, okay, what's seeing a dip? Maybe that's content that I should go back and update because for some reason Google doesn't like it. I would also say that Google talks about this a lot. So Google has content categorized in different like sections, kind of like where, I guess, what types of content you create. So there's a section called Your Money, Your Life, YMYL. And this is content that is kind of a little bit more sensitive. So it's the health industry, it's the finance industry, and the legal industry. And this is the content that's been getting hit the most with these core updates. And honestly, it's not that surprising because I think this content is probably the hardest for people to write high quality content for people.
I think especially in the day and age of ChatGPT, AI, all of these tools like right there at our fingertips that are robots. But these things like Your Money, Your Life, these things that you want to find content on online where it deals with your finances, your health, legal advice, like these things need to be high quality content because if somebody puts something out there that's AI generated and it's wrong, that is a huge no.
Yeah. And like, it's affecting people's life more than, the marketing content we're creating, sadly.
Right. Yeah.
So it's something where Google is just holding, there's like a higher standard for this content. And so if you're a bookkeeper, a lawyer, a financial advisor, money therapist, like if you are in this arena at all, or even in the health space of like acupuncture and any other kind of like health focus that you might focus on, this I see this as an opportunity for you. You have an opportunity to share content that will likely like get the algorithm's attention faster because they're paying attention to this content and they want high quality content there. So if you start pumping it out and creating it and it's good and it's high quality and people like it and it's unique to you and it has your own like personality or your own case studies or your own expertise roped into it, you'll probably see a lot of success. So I would do that if I was you.
Let's change our business. Just kidding.
No thanks. No thanks. I don't want to start over. Okay, and then let's talk about AI because everyone is talking about it. So AI overviews are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. And yes, clicks are decreasing because of it. This is normal. 0-click searches, meaning that people go to the search engine, they get their answer from an AI overview, and they go away.
It's too easy.
Yeah. And everyone's clicks are affected. It's not just, it's us, it's all of our clients.
I mean, if you think of yourself as a consumer, when you're consuming content, not when you're trying to create content for your audience, when you're consuming, I bet the majority of you say, of course I read that AI overview first. And sometimes I don't even click through to anything because that's all I need.
Yeah. And so it's not just you. So I want you to realize that like the algorithm is now to get you. AI overviews are still a very good thing. So you don't need to be worried about them, scared of them, but they are appearing in a significant percentage of searches. So around 15 to 20% now and growing. So that's a lot, like of all searches out there, that's a lot. And because they're leading to 0 clicks, a lot of people are freaking out. So here's a few reasons why you shouldn't be scared. 1, these are quick answers where people were actually spending very little time on your website anyways. It didn't matter. They weren't spending time on your website. They were getting the answer and then they were going away. So for that reason, likely your conversion number of what you actually wanted them to do is going to be decreased. So that is one of those things. And then the other one is that the clicks that you do get now from those users, they're going to be way more engaged. They're going to have a stronger intent to learn. They're going to want to buy and interact from you. So the value of the clicks that you get now are higher, meaning that that conversion rate should also be higher. So that's a really big thing to remember too. And then also remembering that AI overviews are a feature of search. It's not a replacement for the website, and it's never going to be a replacement for a website because Google cannot exist without content. There's nothing for Google to do without content. And without websites creating the content, Google doesn't exist. They need us. We need them. It's like this relationship where we're going to naturally have to feed each other. And so remembering that it's a feature, and Google's thinking of it as how can we help our searchers easier? And that is how you help them easier. Like I, as a searcher, if I don't think about it from a business perspective and I think about it as a searcher, I'm grateful that I can get the answers without clicking through to some crappy website because how many times did I click through on a result, go to the website and immediately I'm like, ooh, this is ancient. I don't trust anything they say.
Right, right, exactly.
And then you back out and you go to another and you end up sifting through 10 different articles rather than getting those 10 things right there at the top, getting my answer, and then maybe clicking through to the one that I gravitate towards most.
Absolutely.
So being cited in these AI overviews is huge because what we talked about is that you are likely going to get those clicks from more engaged users. It's more valuable to be clicked through in those areas than it is anywhere else on the search page. And it boosts your brand authority. Your brand is really prominent now on search platforms. So like you have your favicon, you have your brand name, like your favicon can be a fun, bright color, which we always suggest it should be so that you kind of pop out on that page and people notice you. So next time you go to a search page, look at that. Look at what the brands look like and then think about what your brand looks like from that perspective too.
Didn't we show up in an AI overview once and we just got so excited because we were a part of that AI
We're in a
overview?
ton of them, Court.
Okay, we're in a ton of them. Correct. But I think like the first one we noticed, we were like, oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
like it's good to see yourself there, and like, don't be scared of that. Don't hate AI overviews. And once you do start to see that you're a part of those AI overviews, you kind of feel like you like leveled up.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of
Yeah.
like, damn,
It's exciting. Yeah.
You know?
And the AI overviews that we show up in are still some of our highest traffic drivers.
Yes.
So remembering too that just because your clicks have decreased from last year doesn't mean that it's still not providing value for you. It's not like, oh, I shouldn't create that content anymore because no one's clicking through. No, you're still seeing the brand visibility there, and the people that are clicking through again are a lot more valuable. So if you're curious how you can show up more in AI overviews, we actually just did an episode on formatting your content, because that is kind of the secret to showing up, and that is episode 176. So go back and take a listen to that one. All right. Let's talk about Court's favorite. Do you want to introduce this one?
Okay. So the rise of multimodal, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right, SEO. When I was reading these notes and I looked at this, my first reaction was WTF. And I read what it meant. So here it is. Multimodal SEO is the practice of optimizing your online content to be discoverable and understandable across multiple input and output formats. And so at first when I read that, like I kind of just had to stop and think about it for a minute. But immediately, if I don't understand something right away, or I see a word like multimodal that I've never seen before, I looked at Abby and I'm like, can you explain this to me like I'm a fifth grader? Because I really just need it, like, I don't want to say dumbed down, but I just need it like super easy to understand. And like, we're all about taking jargon out of things. So I asked her to explain that to me as a fifth grader, and she did.
Yeah. So do you want to hear it? I actually did it as a 5-year-old, and I asked Gemini. So I can read this. I can read this out loud. Let's see. Okay, so imagine you have a big toy box, and inside are all of your favorite toys, your Legos, your teddy bear, your picture book, your toy car, and even your Play-Doh. Now, normally, you ask a grown-up to find a toy, you might say its name, like, where's my teddy bear? And they'd look in the toy box for something that sounds like teddy bear or has the letter Teddy. That's the old SEO. You combined, everything is mostly about words. Now imagine that your grown-up is super smart, because apparently before your grown-up was really dumb. So imagine your grown-up is super smart and can now understand you in a lot of different ways, not just words. So you could point at a picture of your toy car in a catalog and say, I want that. You could make a vroom sound and wiggle your fingers like you're driving, and they'd know you mean toy car. You could show them a video of a tablet of you playing with your Legos, and they'd know you want those. You could even tell your teddy bear to sit down, and your grown-up hears you and knows you're talking about your teddy. So that is what multimodal SEO is.
Wild.
But
that's an easy way to kind of grasp it and understand it, you know?
So Google was dumb before. Now it's very smart.
Google
has
also leveled up.
So basically this combines with Instagram. Like the whole Instagram update is a part of this. So now SEO is not about just text, just about the words you type. It's about the images. It's about the video content that you're creating on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. It's about podcasts like this, the audio. And I'm not even going to go there right now, but AR, VR, immersive experiences, like that's a whole nother world too that I'm sure sooner rather than later is going to be a part of this as well. So this is about your brand's discoverability. So it depends on way more than just your website now. Your brand can get discovered in all of these different ways. So,
which is wild, but exciting, but also again goes back to the quality over quantity. I think, you know, which is great. That's the way that it should be. And I think it's probably weeding out things like that by doing stuff like this. But it's like every piece of content that you put out there, you need to think of it from every aspect, right? And making sure that it's super quality content, because Google is kind of creepy, but like Google can literally find you anywhere now, like whether it's voice or text on a page or an image or whatever.
It is creepy. But okay, here's the thing. You're likely hearing this and you're overwhelmed. You're like, well, crap, I already had enough to do. So this all comes down to user intent. So this is really important, is that when someone is searching for something, Google already knows how the majority of people like to interact with that content. So if you go and Google something right now, you're going to see what's going to pop up first. Is it an AI overview? Is it a bunch of videos? Is it a bunch of social videos? Or is it just like the old school list of links? That will tell you right then and there how people like to consume the content that you're searching about. And then that will help you prioritize how to create that content. So if you search a keyword and you're like, I want to show up for, wow, I'm really not going to be able to think of something right now. I want to show up for all the different ways you can use a font in a logo. I don't know. That's dumb, but maybe different logo fonts or something. And you go and search for that and you're like, okay, this is what I want to rank for. I want to share my expertise on fonts. You might first notice that it's a bunch of YouTube content. So now maybe short form content is what you should do, or maybe experiment with some like TikTok reels or Instagram videos, because that might be lagging at the moment, but it could start to populate that space. Or say you look at something and you're like, maybe someone's searching for what's going on in SEO right now. You see a bunch of old school links. Turn that into a blog. Like use the way Google is delivering the content on the search platform is going to tell you what the users like most. So it's not that you have to do everything and be everywhere. It's that you need to focus on how the user, how your audience wants to consume the content.
Now, I realized to an extent, I guess I never really thought about it deeply, but I realized to an extent, like Google serves up that content how people want to see it, right? Based on what they're searching. But I didn't realize that it could change so drastically. Like, I didn't realize that sometimes it could just be all the old school links and that's it. I think I get so used to AI overviews now too that I always expect an AI overview, but maybe that's not always the case.
15 to 20%. Which still, that means that...
Which clearly all the stuff I'm searching for has AI overviews, or maybe that's just the way that I'm typing it or searching it, so it knows like... This is what she wants to see. So it's just wild how even just searching different things can give you different results from like an AI versus posts versus images versus videos. Like that's just crazy and wild how that can just change.
And you don't need a fancy SEO tool to tell you this. You literally Google it. You want to create a piece of content, you think you know the keyword, Google it. What's showing up? That's the type of content you should focus on first. Doesn't mean you can't now break that into other things to test and learn, like you absolutely should, but prioritize what's already working.
There. And
we like to us as human nature and society like to overcomplicate things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
We don't have to. All right, let's talk about the last one. Eat. And
this is
Court and
hungry.
I know we're waiting for our DoorDash right now, so I am already hungry.
Which we have to wrap this up because the squirrels in Minneapolis are assholes.
They eat my DoorDash.
All the time.
They eat it.
It's happened to us at least a full handful of times.
Like last time, they chewed through the plastic casing. We ordered Greek today, so if you're hungry right now, I apologize. But they ate through the plastic casing and took the pita bread.
They're straight up savages. They
evil.
Will chew through anything.
Oh, they're evil. Okay, so let's talk about eat. Not that kind of eat, but eat used to stand for expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Those were the like guardrails that you use to create content with Google. Now they added another E, so it's eat, if you want to say it like that. So they added experience. So experience is the new one because Google wants to see real experience behind the content that you're creating. So this is especially true for that your money, your life like category. Like if you are in that space, obviously you need, like there's confidentiality there, but how can you share your real experiences without like, you know, sharing people's private lives online? I'm sure there's ways to do it. So that's what Google wants to see. So when you think about each of these, how can you bring that to life in your content? So your experience is going to be case studies, testimonials, personal anecdotes, featured content that's written by real people. So your students, your clients. We love doing like podcast episodes with past clients and past students and sharing their experience and then regurgitating that into a blog post. So that can be really great. Expertise, that's where you show your uniqueness. So what is it that you have specific knowledge on? That's what you're talking about in your content. Authoritativeness, so this is like media mentions, backlinks. How can you engage in other industry discussions? So fun little thing for you. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the podcast, but featured.com is one of my favorite ways to get backlinks and show your authority. So go check out that website. I'm not going to dig into it too much right now. And then trustworthiness. So is your website trustworthy? Is it secure? Like that's the bare bones of like, is it HTTPS at the top? Because it should be. If it's not, you need to talk to your website platform about how to get that secure HTTPS up there. You should have privacy policies. Those cookies are now required. So opting in and allowing cookies on your website is a requirement. So that's something that you should need. You should have clear privacy policies, legal things on your website. And working, there's so many legal geniuses out there that have these policies that you can purchase, like templates that you can buy. So definitely lean into that. And then also just having like very clear about you page. Your contact information is accessible. You have customer reviews that are linked to your business, whether that's Google Business Profile, linking there. All of that signifies trustworthiness to Google.
Which is so crazy because, I mean, if you think about it as a consumer, anytime I land on a site where I need to like reach somebody or I have to ask about their service or I want to learn a little bit more about them, if I land on a site and it has very minimal content on those pages, I just get frustrated and I actually don't think of you as trustworthiness. Like if I can't find an easy way to contact you or you have multiple ways that I can contact you, based on like how I like to communicate with somebody, if you don't have any of that, it is like a huge red flag to me. I'm like, nope.
Absolutely. And Google feels the same way, likely because Google knows people feel that way. And so that's why Google feels that way.
Yes.
So I think that is so important. So expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness have all already been here. Like those are things Google's wanted us to do for years. The newest one as of the last few years is experience. So I want you to think about that anytime you create a new piece of content is how can you embed your own unique experience in here? If you're sharing education and tips on what to do, can you share examples of when you've came across it? So how can you make it really unique to you and your business? Because those are the things that AI will never be able to replace. AI can answer questions, but it cannot create the experiences that you are experiencing.
Absolutely. That's what makes it human.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. There's your 5 things that are happening in the world of SEO right now, your little snapshot. And if you like this episode, let us know because we would love to do more of them in the future.
I mean, I loved it. I think people are going to love this.
Education, of course.
Yes.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.